Hello everyone, I'm Sheila Stratton. I'm the Nutrition and Wellness Coach at Community Action in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I'm here today to demonstrate a recipe that is part of our feast series. The recipe today is called Sweet Potatoes a la Mexicana. It's a personal favorite of mine, and it's really been a hit in some of our other feast classes. So you all are familiar with the idea of a potato bar, like a baked potato bar, where you bake a potato and then you've got a few fixins that you put on top. Certainly all of us probably would, we grab the butter, and historically, right, we grab the butter, the sour cream, maybe chop up some chives. That's kind of the standard toppings that you think of for your baked potato. Well, this recipe really takes that idea up a notch, and it is both beautiful. I always say this, right? So it's so colorful, and what that means is it's super, super healthy. So the first step up that we've done is we are using sweet potatoes. And sweet potatoes are full of color, so they're going to give you some more nutrition than a basic white potato. You're getting good nutrition from a white potato also, so don't think that you're not. And so let me tell you first about making our sweet potatoes, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them. You could certainly heat the oven up and throw your potatoes in the oven, and I don't know, 30-40 minutes later they would be ready. But boy, oh boy, you could also, if you've got a microwave, just wrap them. This is what I did. Just wrap them in some paper towel, damp paper towel, and put them in the microwave 5 to 7 minutes, and they're ready. So that's what I've done here. They're wrapped in their paper towel, you can't see them. The other way you could prepare your potatoes is you could steam them on the stovetop, right? So if you've got a steamer basket, little metal basket that sits inside of another pot, and you put just a little bit of water, like an inch or so in the bottom of that pot, put your steamer basket in there, and then put your potatoes on there. And they'll sit above the water, so they're not in the water, they're just above the water, and then the steam that's generated is what cooks those potatoes. And they cook up surprisingly fast, like depending on how big the potatoes are and how many you have in there, 7 to 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. When I first did it, I was really surprised at how quickly it went. So these are good methods. I'm going to unwrap this and show you too. The other thing you always want to do when you're, you probably know this, when you're baking potatoes of any kind, you can take a fork or a knife, and before you make them, you just want to poke some holes in there so that that steam can escape as they're cooking. So the other thing I will say about these sweet potatoes is raise your hand if you eat the skins. If you've eaten sweet potatoes like this and you eat the skins, you should be eating the skins. They are, and just like a regular white potato also, those skins have a lot of nutrients in them, and so eat them. Potassium, fiber, even some iron. So I think a lot of people pitch the skins of sweet potatoes, but you really can be eating them. And what else do I want to say about those potatoes? I think that's about it. Waxing poetic about the sweet potato, but I'm a fan. And I also think that people have different ideas about how you use them, and how, I grew up on sweet potatoes, and I thought you just only added marshmallows to them and brown sugar at Thanksgiving, which is, in my childhood, that was my experience of sweet potatoes, and they are sweet enough on their own. They really don't need all that extra sweetness added to them. So then the remaining ingredients for our sweet potato recipe today is, the next thing is cooked lentils, or you could use any other bean that you have on hand. And I'll pause here and tell you a little bit about lentils. Do you guys cook with lentils? Are you familiar with them? They are fabulous. You know, they just, if you get them off in a packaged form, you can get them in bulk at some of the stores too, but if you get them off the shelf in packaged form, you know, they usually will come in a little 1 pound bag, sometimes bigger. And I'm gonna come around so you can see these guys if you're not familiar with lentils, right? So they are just these little tiny, they're pretty small, right? Little disc shapes, flat little discs. This is a great source of protein. And I'm not sure what it is, but when lentils are cooking on the stove, it is one of my all-time favorite things to smell cooking in the house. I really love the smell of them cooking. So, and again, a great source of protein, and also they're a really good source of iron. So if you're not cooking with lentils, I would really encourage you to give them a try. Just think of them like a bean, in terms of how you think about how you're going to use them, right? Just think about them like you would use other beans. So, and they cook up quick. They're like 15-20 minutes on the stovetop. Easy peasy. Okay, so we're gonna have some cooked lentils. So you'll want to make those before you get rolling here with your recipe. But those are all ready to go. And then the other ingredients that this recipe suggests for topping your sweet potato is some lettuce. I had some spinach in the fridge, and so I just used spinach instead. So chopped that or shredded it up kind of finely. And then also we've got some Greek yogurt. This is instead of sour cream. Sour cream is fine, but it's really not the greatest health-wise, nutritionally. With Greek yogurt or even plain yogurt, you know, no flavors, just the plain variety, it's so much, the consistency is so much like sour cream, you can't hardly tell the difference, except that the flavor is, I think it's even better. It's got just that little touch of tang, which I personally like. But the thing to know about Greek yogurt is, again, protein. It's really got a lot of good protein. It's maybe, you have to look at labels, but I want to say serving to serving comparison between plain yogurt, regular yogurt, and Greek yogurt, it's maybe a third more grams of protein per serving. That's a rough estimate, but so you could think about if you want to get started in the morning with a good kind of protein-packed breakfast, you know, swap out your regular yogurt with some Greek yogurt every once in a while, or add some Greek yogurt in your smoothie. There's lots of different ways you can add Greek yogurt to your diet. So it's a great protein source, and it's a really good swap for sour cream. Okay, and then the other ingredients that we have is avocados, tomatoes, onion, cilantro, and lime juice if you're making guacamole, which I am. You could also add, optionally, it lists here a roasted poblano pepper. I didn't do that, but if you make this and you add that, do let us know how you like it. So you could just sort of chop all those things up, the onion, the tomato, the avocado, just chop it up and have it along the side to then add to your potato. Or you could take those ingredients and turn them into a kind of a guacamole. And so that's what I'm doing. So I'm just going to show you real quick. I've got all of the, got the tomatoes and the onion and the cilantro in here already. And then I have the lime here that I'm juicing, I've juiced mostly, right? So I cut that in half and then just put it on top there. And then you want to have it sitting on the surface so you can really press, right? But just press that down and get all the juice out. And so then you can just add that. Actually, we're gonna hold on to that for just a moment. Avocado. I kind of wanted to show you a quick little trick on avocado. Maybe you already have your own tricks that work great for you. Excellent. Don't change on my account. But I think it's worth having some techniques on getting that pit out safely, right? So what I typically do is I take my big knife. There's an avocado that has not been cut, right? I take this big knife and then I just, cut along so it's cut all the way through until I reach that pit. And then I put the avocado half down on the cutting board, and then just give I already stuck the knife in here, but I just take this knife, right, and just boom, like that, and it comes into the pit. And then once it's in there, you just turn it a little bit and it'll come loose. And then you've got your pit removed. And then you can just tap the knife on the edge of the trash or compost bucket and it pops right off. And then I like to then just take a spoon and scooch around there. And then that pops that right out like that. Easy peasy, right? And so let's slide this out of the way here. So then we're just going to smash that avocado like so. And you could, if you wanted to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this, you could, but I always invite people to taste first before you do. So then I'm gonna add this lime juice right here to the avocado first. And stir that in a little bit. So that's all smashed. Then we take our spatula, and now I'm gonna add the tomato, onion, and cilantro to this. Ooh, you guys, this is beautiful. This looks really good. Boy, oh boy, is that a bowl of guacamole. Look at that. So then, stir it in a little, mix those. And we could make this ahead of time, right? And let those flavors develop a little bit. I think they're gonna be just great right out of the chute, but that's something you could do. There we go. And so clearly I'm not going to, for me, I'm not gonna use all of this guacamole on my potatoes, so could go in the fridge then for a snack later with some, I don't know, I've got some whole grain crackers, I might try that. But if you've got a family, this is probably a good bit of this is probably gonna make your family quite happy with their baked potato. Okay, so that's it, you guys. Guacamole is ready. This has been, my sweet potato has been cooked. And so then it's just a matter of cutting that in half, pop it open. I kind of like to do a little smashing first before I load it to kind of open up the, give a little more room to hold all those ingredients. My personal favorite way to do it. And then it's just a matter of adding your ingredients. So I'm gonna spoon on some lentils. I'm gonna add a little bit of Greek yogurt. right. I'm gonna add some of my spinach and I'm gonna add some guacamole. Oh my goodness. There we have it. I'm probably gonna add a few more ingredients, but I wanted to get this piled up a little bit for you to see. So there you have it. I think that looks so good. It's gonna make a great lunch. The other thing that people have done in our previous classes is they've looked at this sweet potato recipe and they're like, you know what, that is what I'm doing for Thanksgiving. So something to think about. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you'll try this recipe at home. I hope you like it. Mix and match, make it your own, but if you try it out, do let us know how it goes. Enjoy.